All right, Andy, I think we figured it out.
We are live.
Indeed. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Sorry about the technical difficulties. This is Brad Etlin in our next session of Chicagoans at Home Talk and Shop this afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon, my guest is Andy Hite, who's business and leadership coach with Andy Hite Consulting. Great to have you, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad that we're finally live in Facebook land, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Great to have you here. So before we get into into the nitty gritty, I want to hear all about you and your coaching practice, of course, but like to always open it up with a couple fun questions.
Sure. Yeah. The more interesting stuff, right?
Exactly. So, all right. So the first one is, what's your favorite restaurant in Chicagoland?
Yeah. So what is my favorite? Last fall, my wife and I found True Food Kitchen. Have you ever been there?
No.
It's State and something. Superior, maybe Erie. I don't know. Delicious scratch kitchen, seasonal ingredients, healthy food.
That's not
So
True
so
Luck.
good.
That's something different.
Say again.
That's not True Luck. That sounds like it's a different place.
Different, yeah. True Food
Okay.
Kitchen.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Okay. Awesome. And why, what's different about that place?
The menu is constantly changing. It's all seasonal. The Dr. Weil, who founded it, people may know who he is. He's many books out. The menu is all about anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So everything on it promotes anti-inflammation. The food is dynamite. For any vegetarian or vegans out there like me, lots to choose from, lots of really great gluten-free. So if you have a particular menu that you're looking for with some restrictions, they do a great job of accommodating and delicious food.
Okay. Awesome. So we're all cooped up during this whole COVID mess, and many of us are losing our minds or slowly losing our minds. So what kind of tips, I mean, this is your business, coaching people through, personal and business and other challenges. So what is like the number one tip you have for folks that are struggling, that are tired, that are balancing kids and work and everything else?
The I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have anything that anybody goes, wow, never thought of that. Um,
Oh,
the thing that is most helpful, at least for me, and what I talk with my clients about, especially in the world of like a quarantine, and when we're not able to do as much, um, it's especially now, getting outside, getting in a walk or a run, getting some exercise, get the endorphins and dopamine flowing in the body. We're so stuck inside compared to what we have been in previous years, um, that just getting out and getting the sun in your eyes, trying to see some trees or nature, if you can get to a park, um, I I find that just something that simple can help clear the mind and regain some perspective, because we're all kind of trapped in four walls, right?
yeah.
We need to kind of know and experience there's a world outside of this.
Absolutely. No, I love it. And I know for me, even, if I only have 5, 10 minutes, I'll just step outside, walk around the block, come back, and, later go on a longer journey trek.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot of times I'll
but,
just go, if I get stuck or frustrated or just need a change of scenery, go out in my backyard for 10, 15 minutes, sit in the hammock, you know, get a
Perfect.
little sun. It's just a way to clear the mind.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. So, and I'm not even sure if I introduced myself, by the way. Brad Etlin. I'm a realtor with Kale Realty. I do commercial and residential real estate. And want to reintroduce my guest here today again. It's Andy Hite, business and leadership coach with Andy Hite Consulting. So, all right. So we got through the fun stuff, and now we're going to get into the heavy stuff, Andy. All right.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
All right. So it's such a fascinating practice that you have, and it seems to me that it can touch so many different pieces of one's life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it can be personal struggles that people encounter. It can be business growth challenges. It can be both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, in layman's term, what is coaching and what is coaching not?
That's an excellent question. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about what coaching is, right? Because there's so many other fields that are somewhat similar. There's consulting, there's therapy, there's mentorship, there's counseling. And even some of those kind of melt into like the coaching world.
Right.
Coaching, the simplest way that I have found to explain it in one sentence, is a process by which engaging in a relationship with a coach to get more out of oneself than they could otherwise get on their own.
Okay.
Just like in sports, an athlete engages their coaches to become the best they can possibly be. That's when coaching is at its best. There is some thoughts that it's similar to therapy, and in some coaching sessions, it can feel somewhat therapeutic, but there is a difference. Therapy is really there. A therapist's primary job is working from today into the past to heal past wounds, trauma, negative feelings, so that a person can show up today as a whole human being and navigate the waters, as it were, as they move forward. Coaching is really action oriented, doing oriented, looking today into the future, defining a goal or a vision, and then developing a strategy and the mindsets to get one to that goal.
And how much of the advice or how much of that, I guess, the assistance that you provide is kind of like tactical advice versus like soundboarding and helping your clients think through what is the next step?
So it's an excellent question. The other thing that it gets confused with is consulting, right? Consultants have just a breadth of knowledge in a particular industry, and a person would hire them to come in and say, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can reasonably expect this result, right? They're advising. And coaching is different in that we typically don't advise, right? I like to think of it like that lesson of give a man a fish, woman a fish, she eats for a day, teach her to fish, and she eats for a lifetime. I kind of see consulting and therapy and coaching in those ways, right? Consulting really is like handing the fish. Let's solve the problem. Let's implement. And this is not to minimize what consultants do, because they serve a great function. But coaching really is not advice. It's really helping a person understand how they view the world, their world, what their beliefs and fears and obstacles are, so that they can shift their insights into moving forward.
Okay,
does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, so it's almost like there's life coaching, there's business coaching, there's therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you fall on kind of that spectrum?
So right now I'm really working with business owners, business leaders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and helping those folks create a vision for their work and then move them towards whatever that vision is.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, so what kinds of clients do you work with? What is like the profile that you can help? I'm sure you can help some more than others, right?
Yeah.
So,
the people sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the people that I love to work with and that I have the most success with are really motivated individuals
Okay.
Who have vision and goals for their life and work. And just like an athlete in professional sports, they come in with great talent, great promise, but they want to do whatever it takes to become the best in their field. Those are the people that I love to work with, and where coaching is really powerful, because those people are willing and interested in developing themselves,
Okay.
because we as ourselves, we are the tool, we are the vessel, we're the thing that's going to make any amount of knowledge system tactics work. And when we can perfect the vessel, the person, the being,
Okay.
then so many doors open.
Okay. I get it. So tell me, can you share like a case study, one of your favorite, client success stories? I mean, I know you have a lot of clients and are very busy, but like, you have one or two that you can share with us just to give the audience, some context on how you helped a particular client.
Sure. There's a client I worked with in the fall. We just finished up a couple months ago. He's a real estate investor. He came to me. He's successful in his field, um, uh, continuing to grow over a period of years, but he was very frustrated and couldn't figure out why. He just felt kind of alone, because the entrepreneurial world can be a lonely place when we're our only person at the water cooler, and just felt overwhelmed.
Okay.
He was thinking that he was in the wrong work. So we just dove in, right? He was thinking he needed a career shift. We just dove in and discovered that no, in fact, he really liked what he was doing. He liked developing real estate. He liked the people. He liked the processes. What he didn't realize is he had two core values that were in conflict.
Okay.
Two of his values that were highest were service and freedom. And
Okay.
what he didn't realize was, because he wanted to be there for his community, his friends, his clients, he was always saying yes.
Okay.
And on the one hand, was being fed by being able to help people, but on the other hand, was starving himself of the freedom that he so desperately wanted. And that's why he was feeling overwhelmed, because he was overextending himself with one value and ignoring another. So once we were able to kind of acknowledge that, and to kind of put a flashlight on it and create some boundaries so that both of those core values were being delivered on, literally he started to soar. Not only did it change how he showed up on a daily basis, but it changed his relationships, because he wasn't going home depleted anymore. It
Right.
also changed the trajectory of his business, because he was able to get up excited and not feeling that loneliness and overwhelm that he had felt 6 months prior.
So was it really, he was just taking like some of the wrong clients that were taking him away from his focus and kind of
So for
driving him?
him personally, he was really involved in his church community.
Okay.
So he was donating a lot of his time with projects similar, not Habitat for Humanity, but similar, like using his skills to really help the less fortunate and to build up that part of the community. He was doing a lot of that. He was also helping family and friends with particular projects and things that they were working on. He liked to take what he knew to serve the people around him, but he didn't realize that he was drawing himself too thin.
Got it. So he was, kind enough to do all this pro bono type work,
Yeah,
but
because it really fed him. Like
yeah.
it lit him up, but he didn't
Right.
realize that it was also costing him something.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So Andy, so I see 1,000,001 business coaches out there when I scour LinkedIn and elsewhere. So and I mean, I'm fortunate enough to know you and know that your clients, know some of your clients' testimonies and they love you. But for the rest of the viewers out there, what sets Andy Hite apart from the sea of coaches out there?
That's an excellent question. And one that's a little hard for me because I know a lot of really great coaches that I care about. I think it's when looking for a coach, you want to find somebody who is sincere about service, first and foremost,
Okay.
which I am. And you can tell that. You can feel that in initial conversations, right? Is a person in this for a business? And don't get me wrong, we all need to eat, right? Or are they in it for a higher calling? And that definitely is me. I think my clients who end up signing up, they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel as if our relationship is one that could really help them. I think I have a great job of creating a space, a container that is very comfortable, because this work it can go deep, right? It can go to places where we have to face some of our fears or parts of us that we don't really like. So having a space, a person, a container that there is safe for vulnerability, and true reflection, I think is super important. And one thing that I really feel like I do a great job of. Yeah, for the most part. And I think when people meet me, they see that I genuinely care. And that's what's really built my business.
Okay, awesome. And so what is the format of your sessions? Is it one-on-one sessions like this with your clients every couple of weeks? Or I mean, how does that work? Is it group sessions at all? What works?
So most coaches, and I'm no exception, have sort of a menu of things to choose from, because everybody, there is no one size fits all. Like my coaching practice is very bespoke. Every person that I talk to, every agreement that is drawn up is unique in some way. But all that is to say, I do one-on-one coaching. I have a group coaching program for leaders and entrepreneurs. It's a 6-month program. We meet 3 times a month for a couple of hours. There's 6-8 people in there. And it's really great if I don't know if you've ever experienced a group coaching program before.
I haven't.
You get the best of one-on-one coaching, a mastermind, the support of a community of other like-minded people. It's a really powerful way to experience coaching and to move the needle in whatever it is that you're working on. And I also, in the past, have and plan to probably Q4 start another mastermind group, where I'll be putting together 5, maybe 6 men and women who are on similar journeys, but maybe not same field. Do you know much about mastermind groups?
No, I was just going to ask you if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Mastermind groups are awesome. It kind of started with Napoleon Hill talking about, what's his name? Tony Robbins' teacher, best philosopher in business. Can't think of his name. It'll come to me. But basically the quote being, we are the equal to the 5 people that we spend the most time with. It has taken that concept into the business world so that we surround ourselves with 5 or 6 people who push us, who support us. So a typical mastermind session may be, we take the first 10 minutes of the hour and a half, go around a circle, talk about things that are going well and things that maybe we're struggling with. And then part of the session may be, for instance, Brad, if you're like, this week I really need some new, fresh ideas because we're in the land of COVID, on how to market my services. And then you have 4 or 5 other people brainstorming and feeding ideas of, well, in my business, I've done this and saw great results, or I had this colleague who, so it's really like concentrated efforts of 5 people building up one another. Okay. Kind of like that that phrase, a rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Powerful.
I love it. So I think, my initial thought when I heard business coach was, oh, expensive, right? But I know not all your clients are C-suite. You do have C-suite clients, but is this an accessible service for, the average small business owner or professional that's looking to, grow?
The interesting answer to that question is it depends on the individual.
Okay.
I've had clients who
Yeah.
have invested up to 30 to 40% of their yearly income in an agreement. But I've also had millionaires say, I'm sorry, who frankly just got back off a 2-week European vacation, say, I can't afford coaching.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is yes, it's accessible to anyone, but
Okay.
each person kind of determines what their value and the value in it may be.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Anything else you'd like to add, Andy? I learned a lot. I thought this was
No, I appreciate all of the really good questions.
yeah,
Made me think a
absolutely.
little bit.
And where can folks find you? Do you have a website, or how do you want people to reach out to you if they want?
I do have a website, andyhitecoaching.com. I'm also on Facebook. I run a Facebook group for leaders and entrepreneurs. It's completely free. It is a lot of great content. There's a community of people who are in there just chatting. It's called Entrepreneur Success Principles. Could be found through my Facebook. And I'm also LinkedIn, Andy Hite Coaching.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks so much, Andy.
Do I get to ask you some questions now?
You certainly do.
Because my other love, which you and I have talked a bit offline, is real estate.
Right.
My family and I, we invest, we have rental properties, we flipped. So I do have some questions for you about this current market.
All right.
If I
Sounds
may.
good.
I guess the first question is, because I haven't really been in it very much, especially since COVID, is like, what trends are you seeing because of COVID? Like, what's happening in the market right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So on the residential side of things, the trend I'm seeing today is kind of younger families, with kids and a dog. They're realizing this COVID thing ain't necessarily ending today or tomorrow. I mean, really still, what, 4 months in now, we have no idea when it's over. Of course, we hear about these vaccines in the making and all of that, but we really don't know, right? And so I'm seeing young families that are really squeezed for space. They're really starting to rethink their housing situations. So maybe a young couple with a kid and a dog that's been, making do with a 2-bedroom in the city. They're stressed out. They don't have private space. They don't even feel they have enough space to do their work. Throw in a little bit of guilt for the kid not being able to go anywhere. You have a toddler that's cooped up inside all day. You got the parental guilt around that, and I can certainly relate. So you're seeing these young families. A lot of young families actually looking outside of the city. So maybe they were doing their best to stay in the city until their family grew, but now maybe they're on a fast track. They're on expediting that timeline to move from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, and moving further from work, which also isn't necessarily an issue for working professionals anyways, because they're working from home.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, because I do know. I mean, I was one of them. You live your younger life in the city, and then when you start to contemplate, not everyone, but a lot, schools and things like that, you think, well, around kindergarten we'll move out. So it makes sense that people are, if they've had that idea,
Yeah.
Well, hell, let's go now so that our little 3-year-old can have a yard to play in, especially if, and it sounds like the market is ripe for moves like that.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So that's interesting dynamic that I think no one would have predicted. Um, yeah, that's kind of the dynamic I'm seeing a lot with a lot of younger families on the residential side of thing.
That makes
On
sense.
the commercial side of thing, very interesting. I mean, again, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I'm seeing right now is I have some small business clients who are in modest size office space, and now half their people are working from home, maybe even 80% of their staff are working from home. So they're starting to, they're of course almost always locked into an office lease for 3-5 year period roughly. So no one's making any drastic decisions, but as these small business leases come up for renewal, and even sooner now, you see small business owners trying to rethink, well, is this the right office space for me? Is this what I need anymore? If I took out a 5,000 square foot office lease for, you know, 10 employees, and now I have two who actually come into the office, am I wasting
Right.
my money? Is this what I need anymore? Or should I be, down the road, should I downsize and use that money elsewhere?
I'm seeing some of that even with my own clients.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to question it, right?
Yeah,
If you're getting the same amount of productivity out of your company without a commercial space, you at least want to ask the question.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And the other thing is, not everyone's going to just lose their office spaces
Right.
altogether, but you also have to, on the flip side, balance this kind of uncertainty with the fact that even if you do have maybe half of your staff coming into the office each day, well, they need twice the space.
That's right.
Right? You need a
Yeah.
bubble. You need to be able to socially distance, keep your employees safe. So, I don't know where this is headed. I just know that there's going to be a shift, and the longer this goes on, the more likely that shift will be to occur. So it's very interesting times.
Yeah. We'll see a lot unfold over the next 6 months.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As we have over the past 4.
I know, right? So can I ask you a little bit of a selfishly curious question?
Of course.
I'd love to know how you can help investors in sort of the buying of rental properties and what you're seeing in the investor world.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's my favorite area or specialty is
Is it?
multi-unit investment
Oh yeah.
properties, rental properties. So, I have clients anywhere from age, 30 to 60 plus who are looking to diversify their portfolios. And, they're realizing, especially in recent months with all the volatility in the stock market. I mean, Dow is what, 29,500 in pre-COVID, and then was down 32% and is now only down what, 10-12%. I mean, it's been up and down and
Roller coaster.
roller coaster, and especially for folks that have a lot of money in the market, they're getting a little bit nervous. And obviously stocks are something that mutual funds and index funds are a good thing, and people are going to continue to invest there, but they're starting to think about other ways of diversifying their portfolio. Maybe you go from 100% stocks to 90%, and you look at taking or leveraging existing assets, or taking a little bit out and using it as a down payment. So I'm helping my clients with multi-unit rental properties. They come to me because I have all the resources and answers. I'm kind of a one-stop shop,
Yeah.
from property management to renovations to residential and commercial financing to attorneys to,
Well, can I sort of follow up on that?
yeah,
Because
of
I
course.
know I was actually talking to a friend the other day that was contemplating it, but there's while you can find some deals and we know that diversifying is a great tool, people are a little reluctant to jump into the real estate market right now, especially being a landlord. So
Yeah.
is there anything that you in particular, any like tricks or things that you can help people with in sort of mitigating the risk, or talk about what those risks may be and how you can help?
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, you're absolutely right. First of all, that, there's a lot of landlords out there that are not happy today because they're not getting rent, because their tenants can't afford to pay it, because they've
Right.
lost their work, or they're just not paying it because other people aren't paying it. So yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting time, and it's not a perfect world in the landlord arena today, which is why I encourage my clients and to really look closely at the numbers. When we're making an offer, or reviewing the financials on a rental property. I want to see the pay stubs. I want to
Mhm.
see that those rent checks have come in and cleared. I'm not going to take anyone's word for it. And this is, of course, the lawyers are going to be on top of this too. But
Mhm.
now more than ever, there's a lot of things or red flags that my clients, that I encourage my clients to pay attention to. And now more than ever, credit checks for new tenants. And yeah, there's
So
more.
so if you help a client secure a three flat or a 6 unit or whatever that is,
Yeah.
will you also stay on and help them rent it?
I definitely can, and I do from time to time. Yeah, yeah, I can help them find tenants. I can help them find property managers,
Hmm.
and that's when I referred earlier to turnkey.
Right.
Some of the clients or potential clients that I speak to about the possibility of rentals, these are the questions that come up. Who's going to manage it? I'm not going to collect rent checks. Well, I can, or we can bring in a third party property management company, which we do often,
Hmm.
to do that. So, I can provide all of the resources that a prospective investor needs to make it work and to make it turnkey. Some people just want the money landing in their account once a month, and they don't want to talk to a tenant, and it's just an investment. And that's okay.
Yeah,
Other investors want to be more hands-on. They want to know their tenants, and that's okay too. So, I'm here to provide them with all of those options, and talk them through the pros and cons of all of the approaches.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, yeah, I would certainly feel more at ease kind of having someone talk me through those and knowing that at least there's someone like you that can help me from buying it to getting it rented, whether or not you're in part of it or you're bringing in a third party.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome.
I always strongly encourage an inspection once something's under contract. And
Mhm.
even those inspection reports can be
Could be
50
flawed. Yeah.
pages, very heavy, very complicated. So, I have the right people in my network to help translate what that
Right.
inspection report means, and is it a big issue, or is it a not so big issue, and is it worth the risk or not? So
Awesome. I have another sort of selfish question, and I think I have my own opinion on this, but I want to
okay.
ask the expert. Because my family and I, we have both homes and condos.
Okay.
Do you think condos are good investment?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's not always. To be honest with you, I'm more likely than not to say no. Every case is different. Neighborhood, product, neighborhood, all of that matters. But, my personal belief is you don't buy a condo to make money. you buy it to enjoy the neighborhood and the amenities and proximity to work and cafes and all of that. So, and the older a building gets, I mean, the maintenance fees, the HOAs go up all the
Yeah.
time, right? And the taxes go up. I mean, taxes are going to go up regardless of what type of a property you own, but
Yeah. I have a condo and I pay $450 a month in the association fees.
for what? How many bedroom?
3.
Okay. Okay. That's actually not bad
I'm
relative
in the
to.
suburbs. I'm not in the city. It's
Yeah.
in the
Right.
suburbs, not the city. But I
Right.
just look at that check every month and go, damn,
Right. Right.
that's a
And then
lot of money.
it's a lot of money that you're, getting no tax benefit for.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right.
So I've
And
contemplated liquidating it and moving it into a single family home, or
right.
just trying to figure out what the best place to put that investment is.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, HOAs are money out the door, not, hopefully you're getting some good return or your tenants are getting, enjoying good facilities, but it's a lot of money. It's money out the door that's never coming back. And not only is that a commitment every month on top of your mortgage and your taxes, but you're on the hook for a potential special assessment.
That's right.
They could come to you any day and, there's been a meeting of the board of homeowners association and everyone pony up 10 grand, pony up 20 grand, more sometimes, right? So
I'm
that's
getting the hell out.
yeah. So I mean, I'm sure you've heard, I'm not a huge, I just do rarely look at condos as an investment, not to say that they're a bad thing. There are a lot of people that just want to come home and enjoy the gym in their building and the pool in the summertime and have a security guard there 24/7 for their safety. And I get it, and that's fine. But I wouldn't look at it as an asset that's going to appreciate necessarily.
Yeah. It's frankly a home that my family and I lived in for 5 years.
Right.
And at the time wasn't bad paying that, because as living there, we had access to the pool and the
Right.
playgrounds and the parks and all those things but now as an investment, I'm paying for my tenant to enjoy all those things.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah. So just a little bit more about the man, Brad Etlin. What kind of, to reflect back a question you asked me, what kind of sets you apart? Because I don't know if you knew this or not, there's a lot of folks in the real estate space. What sets you apart from perhaps some others?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. There's thousands, if not more, just in the Chicagoland area. And so your question, why do people come to Brad, is I'm a straight shooter. I know what I'm talking about. If I don't know the answer, I'll get it from a good, reliable source. But most importantly, I'm a straight shooter. I'm never going to push my client, whether it's, a home buyer or a multi-unit investor. I'm never going to push them into something that I don't feel good about. I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm not the final decision maker, nor should I be, but I will always be completely and fully transparent about the risks and, the potential upsides of buying a home and investing in a property. And people that have known me for a long time get that very well. But, people that meet me too pick up on that fairly quickly and they come back to me. Real estate, there's, to your point, so many brokers out there that you can go to, but are they going to be pushing deals and trying to get to close? Sometimes. And, of course, I want to close deals too, but people know that I'm not going to, BS them, that I'm going to be honest, and then I'm going to help them. And if it's a good decision for them, be it on the home buying side or as an investment property, then they'll pull the trigger. But if it's not, that's okay. And I'll work with them until they find something great.
That's one thing I knew I liked about you from the day I met you. You're
Aw,
honest,
thanks, Andy.
sincere, authentic, straight shooter.
No, I appreciate that, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Likewise.
I appreciate that. I didn't follow my instructions well, but I do want to get to the fun questions because I'm curious. Um, I'm a bit of a foodie. I love good food. What's your favorite restaurant?
Okay, so I'm a huge foodie. So what kind of type of food? That'll help me narrow it down. Like,
Well, if you're asking me selfishly, I'm a vegetarian.
oh, see, I'm not a lot of help in that space.
But for your listeners, let's just go with your favorite.
All right. Well, I'm a huge sushi fan. There's a
Mm,
place in Albany Park called Lawrence Seafood or Fish Market, I believe. It's on Lawrence, right in the Albany Park area. I believe it's like I don't want to misdirect people. I think it's around like Kimball and Lawrence-ish.
mm.
It's
See,
just
I like sushi because you can get a lot of good vegetarian stuff there, even
exactly.
without fish.
Exactly, that's true. And this place is definitely has those options too, but it's packed. It's packed all the time. You know, it's like a takeout place basically, and the freshest of sushi, reasonable prices. So we are there all the time.
Awesome. Here's another one. When you're not doing your primary gig of real estate, what would we find you doing? What's your hobby?
Well, if I'm not taking care of my kiddos, I have two kiddos, 8-year-old girl and an 11-year-old boy.
Nice.
So we have good fun together. I like to get out and be active with them as much as I can. And now after some back issues, I'm starting to get back into shape slowly but surely. I started jogging again about 4 weeks ago. Love that.
Mm.
And really hoping to get back into yoga when the doctor gives me the green light. I love hot yoga is
Mm.
my favorite physical activity.
Love it.
Yeah.
Favorite sports team?
Well, Toronto Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm from Canada originally, from Toronto, as I'm sure you figured
Yep.
out.
Yep.
So born and raised in Toronto, but I've been here a long time, and so I'd say both the Leafs and the Hawks.
Love it. Any of your own sort of tips on dealing with quarantine and keeping a fresh mind,
Yeah, I
body?
mean,
What do you
one
find
thing
yourself doing?
yeah, I mean, one thing is, one thing, it's more about my kids than me, but I remind myself to try and have extra empathy for my kids,
Mm,
particularly for my 8-year-old when we're home. And, I think she feels cooped up sometimes.
yeah.
So I try to be extra sensitive and, try and give her some more, take her out more and keep her busy because I know it helps her, and I remember that for myself. Even if I have, I've had days where I'm Zoom to Zoom to Zoom to Zoom for
Right.
9 hours, literally, and at the end of the day, I'm wiped.
Yeah.
And so now I'm scheduling 20 minutes between my Zooms so I can actually breathe and go out on my balcony or go for a quick walk, just doing little things to just stay sane. It's so easy in this crazy world we live in to just get to go too far or not take care of yourself enough.
Get lost down the rabbit hole.
Totally,
Yeah.
and I frequently find myself there. I'm just
Well, you can probably find me in there.
yeah, I'll see you there. See you there,
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, this was great, Andy. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope to have you back again. I loved learning about your coaching business and learning about what you offer your clients, and looking forward to getting to know you more and learning more and all of
Likewise.
that. Thank you.
Likewise.
All right. Well, thank you so much to our guests for joining today. Apologize again on the delay, technical delay. I take full accountability for that. But this
We'll
is,
put it on the blooper wheel or bloopers reel.
do we have one of those? We got to make one, Andy.
I know, right? Is this thing on?
It's on, Andy.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much to our guests for joining today. This was Chicagoans at Home Talkin' Shop. I'm your host, Brad Etlin, broker with Kale Realty. And again, I had Andy Hite, Coaching. Thank you so much again for being here and hope you all have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.